I think we've got it all, Steve. You ready to go?
I guess so.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, and playing podcast.
Steve is all juiced up today.
Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
I need to get out of the hole that I've created for myself in not finishing my NAMM videos, because the other day I was sitting at home and I just kept saying,
when you release this thing, people's going to think it's for 2025 NAMM.
That's at the rate it's going. It's feeling that way. But I was sitting on my couch the other day and I would just said out loud to myself, "Hi, this is Steve and you're watching 60 Cycle Hum."
You did it.
And I thought, damn, I need to actually like use that.
Yeah, just say that. Just use the old intro that I would do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, then you wear it out, and then you decide to quit doing it.
That's not the problem with why my video. I haven't worked on it in like 3 weeks because I can't get I can't get the mental energy to do it.
You're learning a lot of lessons with this video. All right.
Anyway, this first ad was sent by Jackson Dukes, and this ad is going to teach us why Sam Ash is going out of business.
This is why Sam Ash closed down, because of this ad.
True Tone 1-spot CS7 guitar pedal power supply. They're asking for $80. This is in Madison, Tennessee. And
I'm gonna check the price on a normal one of these. You want to describe what you're looking at here?
So this is a very used True Tone 1-spot CS7, which is one of like the premier smaller power supplies on the market. Like, they are well known as a power supply, but I've never seen one with a lamp cord sticking out of the front of it.
It's got, someone hacked a brown household extension cord into the side of this thing. We don't have a shot of the front where it's coming out. We just see that it's coming out. They want $80 for it. I'm seeing a new one at Guitar Center for $99. One at Musician's Friend for $99.
Are these only 99? I'm seeing them used.
I'm seeing different models that are different prices, but the CS7s, it looks like they go new, $99. That's what I'm seeing. On the internet.
There's no actual picture of the front, which is actually the part that's the most interesting.
I know.
So the thing is where this is hacked into it is right above where one of the 9-volt 500 milliamp plugs would be. So
I've done some creative electrical work and stuff over the years, and I can imagine what's going on in here. And what I hope is happening is that they've run wire from the input power from the IEC plug straight to that extension cord there, because it would make no sense if they were running that off of a 9-volt spot.
And I guess I've never seen, I think that's, my question is this designed to be a power extension, or did they decide, you know what, like, my house doesn't have ground plugs, so I'm going to hack in, but then you need another extension cord to use it?
This is such a wild hack, and it could all have been avoided. Because I've had this problem. The problem that they were trying to solve with this, I've had this problem where, like, I need an extra wall plug underneath my board to plug in a secondary power supply or something like that. Or to plug in something that uses a unique power supply. Like, like with the Surfy Bears, they use a unique power supply, so I always need an extra plug.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They sell IEC cables that are like two-headed snakes. Like, they have a split at the end.
Sure.
And you can plug two things into it, and it's like a $10 solution. You just order the cable or an adapter that you need that would go before this. It is IEC, right? I'm not saying that
IEC,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay. So
it's that universal. It's on the back of computers. It's in the picture you're seeing right here.
I put up a picture. Good point, Steve. Editing Ryan. Put up the picture.
No, I mean, people are going to see this picture in the set, and they're going to...
But I want to find a picture of the product that I'm talking
Ryan,
about.
do you think our viewers are stupid?
Not all of them.
Just most. Most of them.
Most of them are about as smart as we are. So yeah, pretty dumb.
Pretty dumb.
We're guitarists. We're musicians over here. What do you expect from us?
Okay, so this is like you want...
This feels like this feels like a hack that happened on the road, and then they made it more official later.
I feel like that's the only way it makes sense.
Right.
Is if this is like, I'm on tour, but like, where are you on tour that there's not like a True Value or an Ace or a Home Frickin' Depot?
Like you could
or
solve
a Lowe's,
you could solve this with a surge protector
or a Walmart.
Whoever did this, they had a drill.
Yeah.
They had a cable. And they had I'm assuming it's soldered inside,
or they've got the electrical screws, the joining screws. I don't know what those are.
Maybe
those are called.
Maybe.
I don't know what the technical term for those are.
I take it back. I don't think this was on the road project. Someone did this in their garage, but like all that aside, why the hell does Sam Ash have it? What person at a front desk took this in as a trade or as a purchase and like, oh yeah, we'll try to resell that for you.
Yeah.
I can't understand that at all. I cannot wrap my head around someone working for a major national music instrument chain store and looking at this and going, oh yeah, we'll take that as part of a trade, or like we'll buy that off of you and we'll try to sell it. And we're going to try to sell it for $20 under brand new retail. This is a $10 purchase at best. This is in the free bin at a garage sale at best. This is bonkers. I cannot imagine a scenario where someone didn't get fired for buying this.
It still says, I'm looking at the actual listing. All the details says is 7 output power supply, which is what this is. Right. But it does not explain this hack job of a modification.
Well, it's listed as a 7, but you've got 4 plugs on that added thing. So really,
I think that only adds 3. I think those only add 3.
You think no? Because there's 2 on one side.
Usually there's 2 on one side and
one on the other.
Yeah.
All right.
Trust me, I have a lot of these.
So it's a 10. It's a 10 spot now.
It's a 10 spot. This is listed for 80, which probably means they paid $40 for this.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it was in the back of an amp or something like that.
And it's after.
Maybe it was inside it. Like they took they bought a pedal board. And when they cracked it open, this was sitting in there. And now, since like everything's on clearance over there, they're just like, list this thing that's been sitting in the back forever. Get this thing out of here.
I wish that we had started recording like 2 hours ago.
What happened 2 hours ago? What are you? Steve was trying to Bluetooth connect.
Why can I not Bluetooth connect?
I don't know.
Will it not let you once you start recording?
I don't know.
How am I going to play the song?
We'll have to stop recording when it's time to play the song. What were you going to do? Every time you try to play audio in the middle of the podcast, it sucks. So tell me what you were going to do.
Well, I wasn't going to. I just saw that and wanted to hit the button.
Oh, okay.
What I was going to suggest is, if it wasn't already so late, that we call Sam Ash in Madison, Tennessee, just ask them,
what the hell?
What? Like,
well, here's the thing. This ad came from before they announced they were closing down. Because I'm like a month behind on all the ads that you guys have sent in.
So this ad literally is why.
This ad is the reason why Sam Ash shut down and shuttered all its stores. It's not because Sammy Ash passed away.
They have not.
R.I.P.
They have not lowered the price on this, by the way. It is still listed for $79.99.
Did you find it?
On their website.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're telling me that this 10 spot didn't sell. This is limited. There's only one of these. There's only one 10 spot out in the world.
It's in Madison, Tennessee.
Go buy it, guys. $80. It could be yours. It's a collector's item. The object that ended Sam Ash. There it is.
Is that one spot? Is that 10 spot in Tennessee? Because it's the only 10 spot I see.
Oh God, that was awkward.
Oh.
If you want to send us ads and potentially have a chance at winning a $25 virtual gift certificate printed on heavy digital cardstock, then email us at 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com. Find ads from your local Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Reverb, wherever. Email us the link and screen grabs. And it might end up on the show. And if it's our favorite of the episode, you're going to win. And then Steve is going to send you a digital gift card.
Or I'll send you 2 Afford-a-Board pedals.
Yeah.
If you want that. And here's a secret.
Secrets.
It's a $25 gift card in the United States.
Ooh.
If I can get my hands on it, I send a $35 gift card to Canadians.
Whoa.
And I send a €25 gift card to Europeans. So sorry, America, you're kind of getting shafted here. Everyone else is getting like
you said
a couple bucks.
You said
more.
25 to the year.
Yeah, but €25 is like
more.
20 is like 30 American dollars or something.
Right.
So,
but they don't have freedom.
Yeah, that's true.
Not like us.
They don't have it in Canada either.
Yeah,
not like us.
We got those amber waves of grain, baby.
Well, Canada
deal with it.
Canada has amber waves of grain and Purple Mountain's Majesty. I've seen them in pictures.
Steve, knock it off.
They had
those things don't exist.
They had that Aurora too, man.
Well, yeah, they always have the Aurora.
Yeah,
that's an unusual thing for us. They exported that for a couple days.
It was kindness content.
Yes, thank you for the kindness content,
Canada. Contest.
Or as I like to call you, Northern Mexico.
Oh God. At least you didn't
build a wall. Start at the north.
At least you didn't call them the Holland of North America.
No, Holland is Europe's Canada. Like it's well established.
Right. That's what it is. That's what it is. Right.
What does it even mean? It's just fun to say.
Kind of embarrassed to do housekeeping now.
Do it, Steve.
But if you want to support this nonsense, or again these $25 gift cards. The dinner that I ate tonight, also the dinner that my wife ate. My wife got Panda Express tonight.
Whoa!
Man.
Well, we got the biggest freaking burritos in town. Like my burrito was this big. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
You can support us for as little as $1 a month, as much as whatever.
Yeah. $100 million gazillion $1,000 a month if you want.
You know what? Whether you do $1 or whatever that number was, you're only going to get your name one time in the scroll at the end. But I like to make a special shout out to the folks who joined in the last 2 weeks at the $1 level. We've got He's Not Last, He's Jim First. That's the only joke I have on this whole list. And I'm sure Jim has heard that joke like 1,000 times. Sorry, Jim. Jonathan Anderson, Sid Merritt, Rappa, Thaddeus Makes Wilk. At the $2 level, Darren Staley. And at the $5 level, Daniel Monahan.
Thanks, everybody.
I think I shipped Daniel. So at the $5 and $10 level, I send out little swag packs. And at the $10 level, I also hit. So we have like our stickers and pics that go to the $5 level. The $10 level, I send that plus a couple Inner Circle exclusive stickers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Did we get Hoop Jumper stickers yet?
Not if you didn't pick them up today.
Were they shipped to?
Yeah, I shipped them to you.
Oh,
I will retroactively mail
sure
Hoop Jumper stickers out.
Well, you might be able to pick them up during the week.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So
you can ship them. Yeah.
Because they shipped yesterday.
We got all these grocery bags are full of the Hoop Jumpers Club pedals. This is 3 different weeks of Hoop Jumpers Club Afford-a-Board pedals, and Steve is going to ship all these out with Hoop Jumper stickers.
That's the plan.
That's the plan anyways. We'll see what actually happens. But the stickers are on their way. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Anything else, Steve?
This episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss.
That's right, Steve.
Chase Bliss has a new product.
They sure do.
It's called the
Outward, I think, or Onward. Outward,
I
onward,
wrote
upward.
down Onward.
It's Onward then, because it's based on these other pedals that were Overward, Underward.
I think that one, the other one was Outward.
They're word pedals. These are pedals about words.
Okay, the Onward is a sampler controlled by your playing. It moves when you do, capturing the sounds you make to create rich musical landscapes. You'll find responsive accompaniment, synthetic reimaginings, and a whole heap of glitching dreamscapes. It has two sides, one freeze for soft, smooth sounds, and one glitch for angular repeating sounds. Combine them into one moving mega effect or split them apart for waves of depth and dimension. There is a 90-second video, which I've been meaning to watch that one. I need to go back and watch it.
I watched their video playing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want bleeps and bloops, I mean, this is a bleeps and bloops machine, man. It sounds wild, and pad sounds and stuff like that. It sounds like when I do a video where I stack a bunch of nonsense pedals and what comes out is just like this cut up, glitchy, amazing nonsense that gives you goosebumps and stuff like that. It sounds really cool. I'm trying to talk myself into getting one.
This pedal is going to be part of the standard lineup, but they're doing pre-order now. So with expected shipping, I believe in July. So you're going to want to, if you want to be one of the first ones,
jump on it now. Yeah.
ChaseBliss.com. If you decide to get on the pre-order, tell them that Steve from 60 Cycle Hum sent you.
Hey, you can mention me too.
Yeah, I guess you can mention me.
Yeah. So you would just say Steve sent me. Ryan had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Just get both of our names in there, please.
Yeah, exactly. This episode is also brought to you by Wong's Amplification.
That's right. I've got the first Wangs that I ever had right here in my hand. You can see this Wangs fits nice and neat in my hand right there. But whether you want a Wangs in your hand or you want a Wangs in your lap, there might be a Wangs for you, no matter your size preferences. So go check out the link down below. See what they have. We like them. We love our Wangs. Steve has Wangs. I have Wangs. I've got a little Wangs and a big Wang. Steve has a slightly bigger Wangs than this one.
Bigger,
right.
But not too big.
Not too big.
It's really like
it's comfortable.
I feel like for playing in the house, my Wangs is just the right size.
Right, totally. Yeah. So huge thanks to Wangs for sponsoring yet another episode of the show. Click the spot. What is it? A Shopify link down below. Check out what they make. I call them like import boutique style amplifiers. They're made like boutique amps. They're just imported, so they're more affordable. Go check them out. We like them. You're probably gonna like them too. Or you won't. I don't know. It's up to you.
Next up, I was very confused by this ad. I thought this was another Backstreet Boys ad because it was sent to us by Nick Carter.
Oh.
Which I'm sure is also a joke that he's heard far too many times.
Steve with the name jokes this week.
Real Life Relics Fire and Ice Red Gray Burst. It's $395 in stock. It's a medium relic, 22 fret, 5-piece laminated neck. Unique shape.
Did you say 25-piece laminated? Oh, 5
22
piece.
fret, 5-piece, 22 and 5-piece. Unique
How many
shape,
pieces are on this neck?
Top bound.
If you count each fret as a piece, yes, this neck has a lot of pieces.
Dual P90, and I think the P in P90 stands for piece, so that's 180 pieces in the pickups. Bigsby style tremolo and locking tuners.
Guitars are like a very specific type of puzzle, if you think about it. You know, all these pieces you got to put together.
Is this supposed to? Oh, it is Real Life Relics. I was like, is this supposed to look like Dick?
$395 though. When I first saw the pictures of this, I was like, oh, this is going to be some $1,700 boutique sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the price, I was like, well, dang, now it should feel complimented. I was feeling like bummed out by it, like, oh, you know, just another, you know, like fancy build or whatever. Boring. Oh, it's affordable? Now I think this is cool. I do think this is kind of cool. Like, I know people have, you know, like there's lots of people who hate Relics. They just hate Relics. Don't buy them. But I don't know. I'm kind of down with this thing. I kind of like the shape of it.
It reminds me of the ESP Streamer, which I'm trying to find a picture of.
It's
I guess it's not.
It's
quite.
kind of offsetty, a little bit Firebirdy, but not really. It's interesting. I like the headstock. The only thing I don't like is the truss rod cover. Is that weird like carved sort of thing? I wonder if that's aftermarket. And I don't like the little badge. I don't like the way they need to do a print logo at least. I don't like the little badge.
You don't like the little badge.
I don't like the little badge. Do a water slide. Or you know what? You're relicking things like branded into there. You know, get a brand.
Yeah.
Like this would be a good opportunity for branding.
There's just too much. I mean, I like the idea. I think the badge can stay, but I do wish there was something. There's too much negative space on that headstock.
But looking below the net, I like what I'm seeing here. I think this is a cool looking guitar. I even like the pickguard design.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like is this hybrid in between a Les Paul shape pickguard and like a Rickenbacker-y sort of thing going on.
There's like a big old chunk missing out of the upper horn, which kind of looks cool.
They're not joking about the relic bit. Like this thing's had rocks thrown at it.
Is this $400 of guitar, right?
I think so. Unless it plays like ass. Like it looks fun to me.
I recognize this body shape. Like I said, it looks like an ESP streamer, but it's not. I almost feel like Schecter maybe makes something in this vein.
Possibly.
If you recognize this body shape, please let me know in the comments.
Do you think it's a repurposed situation?
No. I think this is like I mean maybe it's repurposed. Like this was an something you'd buy off of AliExpress.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Like even looking at like the neck pocket where the neck plate is, like it seems like the body is cut well and with a lot of intention.
Yeah.
Like.
That extra
but it also does
access
with the badge on the headstock sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It does maybe feel like a modified AliExpress sort of thing, like you were saying. Like, where did this come from? Where did it go?
Where did this come from?
Cotton Eye Joe, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I if I saw this in a store, I'd pick it up for $400. I would.
Would you buy it or try it?
I would try it.
Right. You'd try it to see if you're going to buy it.
I would try it because I'm a little skeptical of these import Bigsby's.
Oh,
and
sure.
I think that would be like the make or break really for me.
Also, it looks like they relicked the hardware too. It looks crusty and rusty.
Yeah.
What did they do?
There's kind of a face on the hand, like.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I don't know.
It's like a little like attitude guy.
Yeah.
He's got. It almost looks like a little Guy Fieri hiding in there.
This guitar's gonna take you to Relic Town.
They're taking the Relic Town. Do we need to make a Guy Fieri meme where he's a proponent of relics? Yeah. I relic this one with my atomic spicy sauce. This is I left this guitar in a room with a crazy monkey and a wrench, and it went to town. And just imagining things Guy Fieri would do if he was a guitarist. But they went to town on every bit of it. Like the knobs looked relics. Yeah. The pickguard looks gritty. All the screws look gritty.
The knobs are like that MXR style hex. Yeah. And they've got that like yellowing going on.
I wonder what this thing feels like. Does it feel gross?
That's what I want. Well, that's the question.
Like I kind of don't want, I make fun of this.
The neck looks a little dry.
When I see relic guitars, because usually the body just looks like it was in a swamp or a fire that like was burning up a swamp. The swamp was on fire is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But then the frets are always pristine.
Right.
And the parts of the hardware that are important are always pristine. Maybe there's crust and rust here and there, but the parts that are important are always pristine and in good condition because you actually want it to be a playable guitar. Mm-hmm. But then when you see like that milkiness on that cheap Bigsby and you see the grime on the knobs, you're like, oh, is this going to feel dirty? I don't want it if it's going to feel dirty. I want it to look like it's 1,000 years old somehow, but I don't want it to feel gross. Ew. Like, did a dog pee on this or something? Why is the metal all milky and rusty? What happened? But other than that, I like the visual style of this thing. I like the shape of the body. The lower horn is flirting with being a hook, but it's not a hook, and so I'm okay with it. Yeah. I like the pickguard. I like that it has a Bigsby. I even like that it has P90s. I think P90s are the right choice for this. I even like the shape of the headstock. I just don't like the little badge. So $400.
It's such a little complaint.
I know. I know.
You could buy this and put your own.
If I got to try this in person, the headstock badge wouldn't keep me from buying it if I fell in love with it. I wouldn't be like, oh, this one thing that's going to keep me away from it. I just pry the badge off.
Right. You could just take the badge off and move it to the spot that you want it in. Problem solved.
Yeah, I'd put it in the case. That's the spot. I would leave it there.
I'd put it in the trash.
I'd leave it in the case until the day that I sell it, and then I'd say, it's in the case if you want it.
You wouldn't put it back. You're like,
no, I wouldn't go to the effort.
Looks better without it.
Yeah, but I think that's a solid buy for that price, without knowing how it plays. But yeah, I think it's cool looking. What do you think, Steve? I mean, you already said that you'd try it. Yeah,
I'd try it. I'd give it a shot.
All right, what next?
Give it the old college try. What's next is what is new, Ryan?
I don't think I have. Oh, I gave a guitar to a kid. I did the thing that commenters always say, like, oh, why don't you give that to a kid? Blah, blah, blah.
Did you film it?
I did not.
Doesn't count.
I do have a picture of the kid playing the guitar. I'm not going to put it up because I didn't ask permission to do that.
I'm giving this guitar to a kid.
So here's what happened.
Do kids deserve guitars? I'm going to give this one away.
Steve is testing out his Phil McKnight style titles, his video titles. So I'm on, the Mira Mesa next door groups, Facebook group sort of thing for my hometown. Steve is there too, just to keep track of the nonsense.
I work in the neighborhood.
Okay, he works in the neighborhood.
I do.
Yeah, and everything that you interact with on there is because you work in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Because the things what are you interested in if you work but you don't live in a place?
Sure. The food, restaurants and stuff like that. Yeah.
And apparently we predicted Red Lobster going out of business.
I didn't predict it. I wished it. I wished it over and over again for years and years and years. I've been looking at that building like that.
Anyway,
that place is a blight in our
community. Is this
community.
the one where the lady was like, my kid needs a guitar for a prop for their school play?
It wasn't a lady. It was a dad. It was a dad. It was a dad. And so I responded to him like, hey, I've got guitars. Private message me. Mm-hmm. And he went and clicked on my profile and he saw that my background image is just a line of my guitars. And he messaged me. He's like, I can see from your profile that, you have guitars.
Yeah.
And so what I did is, because it was going to be like a prop for a play, take the Temu guitar.
Oh, the Temu guitar.
Because that thing's trash.
I thought you would have done the Chibbenbacher.
The Chibbenbacher. I thought about offering that one, but I didn't know the age of the kid because the guy asked for a kid-sized guitar, and the Chibbenbacher is significantly heavier than the Temu Strat. The Temu Strat, like, it could be made to be okay, but it needs a whole new bridge, and I need to spend like a weekend dialing in the truss rod and stuff like that. Sure. And then I probably need to dress frets. Like, I've been looking at it like there is a project I'm never going to finish. And so I took the opportunity. I was out of the house when his wife came by to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And Lauren said, like, oh, yeah, they're really excited about it. And she said they'll bring it back when they're done. I was like, no! I thought it was finally over. I thought it was finally gone. But then the dad messaged me the other day, and he's like, he sent him a picture of the kid playing it. And it's like, we might have started something here. And I was like, perfect.
Cool.
Great. I hope that he falls in love with playing guitar. And then I was like, do you need an amp? I have little battery amps around and stuff like that. I'm trying to take opportunities to get stuff out of the house right now, But I gave it to a kid. Maybe it'll end up coming back, and then I'll have to find another kid that wants it, or I'll figure out, something to do with it. Its final demise, I suppose. Temu wants me to make another video, so who knows what I'm about to get up to. I need ideas for crazy, dumb stuff. Like I want ideas where it seems like I'm pranking Temu. So throw that down in the comment section. I want to take their money and make content that is perplexing and weird. That's my plan right now. Hopefully I can live up to my own expectations. Do you have anything new, Steve?
I got this pop socket from Rev.
You didn't get it from Rev. You got it from me, and I got it from Rev. It was hiding in the backpack that Rev gave us.
Yeah, I think I have one of these too. This will go into This will go. I'll give this away. Anyone want one? Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna put a king sumo. I'm just kidding.
No. That would be so stupid.
If you want this,
you could do it though.
Here's what I'm gonna do. If you want this, the first person to just email me 60cyclehomecast@gmail.com.
There you go.
They're all timestamped. I know, like half of you listening right now are like, someone's probably already
we're about
won.
to get 200 emails for a pop socket.
I know.
Don't email us. Private message Steve on Facebook.
Don't. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, don't email
Join
us.
the Facebook group and call me out there.
It's hard enough for me to find all the actual business emails in our email because there's so much stuff that comes in.
Let's open this mail.
Yeah, we got a letter.
We got a letter from Sawyer, and we're gonna open it. I'm gonna open it.
I was looking for my knife and then I realized it's a letter.
It's a letter. We got half of a package from B's Music Company, but we're not gonna open this one. We're gonna open the next one.
We don't know when we can open this yet, so this might not be next week. It might be the week after next week.
What up, Ryan and Steve? Love the podcast. Been watching, listening for a while. I 3D printed some pics for a trade. Keep up the great work, Sawyer. And here's some cool little 3D printed pics. They're fun.
I don't know why it never occurred to me that you could 3D print pics.
You're very grippy.
Yeah, they're
got the little grippy holes in them.
Here, let me take a good photo of them here on the table so I can show everyone what they look like. We'll put the white one on the table. So
and he sent a what they used to call this back in the day, self-addressed stamped envelope.
There you go.
That's going to make it real easy. I will put some stickers and pics in here, and I will get this back in the mail
I'm about to
someday
play
soon
with a 3D printed guitar pick. I'm doing it. I'm playing.
New title for this episode: Playing with a 3D printed pick.
I'm playing with a 3D printed guitar pick? What? That's crazy. All right. What next, Steve?
What's next is a sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Is it this sponsor right
that
here?
Sponsor. String Joy.
Ta-da! String Joy. Home of the famous String Joy.
Home of the famous String Joy. Someone asked if we've been running less String Joy ads because they're tired of us talking about human teeth being part of the orbiter formula. And that is not true. We are still talking about how there are human teeth that are ground up and used to coat the String Joy orbiter string. That's what makes them so slick, just like your teeth.
Yeah, they're nice and smooth and slippery like the enamel of your teeth because they're coated in an enamel from human baby teeth that were harvested by your parents when you were a child, and they sold them on the black market. But don't worry, they took that money and they had a nice date with it. You know, they went to a steakhouse. They got steaks and they got table wine. They had a great time. So don't worry about it. Don't stress out. Don't take it out on your parents. I can't believe you sold my baby teeth and then String Joy coated strings with them. Just get a set of strings if you miss your teeth, and you'll get to visit them, when you play your guitar. So huge thanks to String Joy for continuing to sponsor this podcast. They wanted to go to an every other week sort of format. I don't know why Steve even brought that up. You guys weren't even supposed to notice.
Because somebody brought it up to me, okay? This is real. I'm a real person.
No, we're real people. You're right, Steve. We're real people.
Click the link below so they know that.
And these are really coated in real human teeth.
I've done 2 String Joy gift cards as part of the Avengers Club. That's a place that you can get a digital gift card from. So if you're like, well, I want to try out String Joy strings, but you're not ready to commit, what you should be doing is flooding our inbox with good ads.
Right.
So when you win, because you will have, if you send good ads, you will have a good chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can get String Joy strings, and it'll be basically on us. Actually, it'll be on the Patreons. Thanks, Patreon.
Thanks, Patreons.
Also use code HUM when you check out for 10% off. This topic, Ryan, explain this topic to us while you're trying to figure out how to explain it. It was sent by Ryan Berman. Ryan Berman sent us, he has a DI garage, garage pedal company called Progress Pedals. He's working on taking the Dad 250, which is the pedal, that he sent one to me and one to Ryan, and he's working on doing maybe a production run of these.
Yeah, he's getting the details figured out.
Really cool, the little details we've seen. And now we're going to take this topic that he sent in.
So he wrote this long topic call out sort of thing.
Sure.
And then I grabbed a little chunk of it. I was like, there it is. There is something that Steve and I can riff off of for 15, 20 minutes to pad out the podcast.
Darth Vader choke.
Exactly. I lifted it up and then put it into my telephone. What is one technical gear or playing thing that once you learned it, it allowed you to grow creatively, including chasing tone more effectively? So like the way he built to this premise is that he was listening to Josh Scott do an interview or talk or something like that. And he said that he's not really like a circuit engineer. He's just someone who's good at feeling his way through circuits as he goes and going like, oh, this sounds different than that, but I prefer that sort of thing.
Sure.
So he's talking about like things that we've learned or tools that we've acquired that have kind of changed the way that we do things or changed our approach to playing guitar or, crafting our beautiful, beautiful tones and things like that. Can you think of anything off the top of your head that was there's like the before times and the after times when you learned it or you got it?
I don't know. I'm thinking through things.
I have an example. I can talk about it first if you want. Well,
sure. What's your example?
So like
here's okay. Well, here's the thing for me. It's not. It kind of does make. In some ways it makes tone chasing maybe a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes everything else I think a lot easier. Is just cheap, like a cheap wireless.
Interesting. Oh, so you can walk across the room and like.
So I can just walk across the room, or it's like I don't have to like in my head for some reason pulling a guitar off the wall, grabbing a cable, plugging it into one end, plugging it into the other end, and now I'm stuck where I'm at. Is like it's like this hurdle. Whereas taking a wireless thing, plugging the bug into my guitar, plugging the receiver into an amp, and now I can like. Just like, oh, I'm playing. And then if I need to go like run out to the kitchen to do something real quick, I don't have to like take my guitar off and go do the thing and then come back and put it back on. It's just, I go do the thing and I have the guitar. And it sounds so dumb when I say it out loud because it ultimately like it's like extra 10, it saves me 10 seconds.
But that's kind of like how I feel about like the little headphone plug things that I use.
Yeah.
Where it's just like a single object that allows me to play wherever, and it's like no muss, no fuss. And so it's contributed to me playing guitar for hours and hours and hours more than I normally would have the chance to.
Yeah. And I think like where that ends up working into like, because again, that thing, what I've been doing a lot at home is I've been using the Black Starfly 3 with my wireless. And so it's just a little amp I can turn on. I've talked about this before, turn on the TV, turn on like one of those like lo-fi streaming channels and just play along. And all of those things, they don't develop tone directly. They maybe like the feel side, it helps with feel and just playing and whatever. But it's not like, oh yeah, I'm dialing in this great tone right now. But what it does is it helps me get more confident in what I'm doing and more comfortable on the fretboard. So the times that I am in my room and actually using cables and plugging into a pedal or whatever, I don't have to think about like, oh, what's the thing I need to play, because I have a little more confidence in my ability to just like, I'm going to riff something real quick because I'm just in the practice already.
Something I'm thinking about that has really changed the way I approach the fretboard. And like in demos, I just noodle and stuff just kind of falls out of me. But when I'm in my like songwriting time, or like when I'm sitting really working out riffs, or if like I'm working on like one of those loops that I do every now and then and stuff like that, something that has profoundly helped me is just the tiniest little bit of awareness of music theory is just literally understanding where things are on the fretboard in relation to the root note.
Hmm.
So like say the root is, you know, the A on the low E on that 5th fret right there.
Sure.
So I spent the time a couple of years ago to just actually spend the time to figure out, like I always knew like, oh, there is the 5th in relation to that. And then an E, obviously. That is the 5th of the A. And, you know, that's how you make power chords, is by chasing the root around with a 5th. But then I was like, oh, I should just memorize where everything is. Like, oh, there's the 4th. There's the 3rd. And if I want a minor 3rd, then there's a minor 3rd. And now all of a sudden I understand what the difference in between a major and a minor chord is. It's just moving that 3rd. You know, it's either 1/3 or another. And they're like, oh, there's the 7th, there's the 6th. And just knowing, kind of like coming up with these shapes in my head where if I can find the root, then I know where all these little other things are. And it's like, oh, I want to spice this up and make a 9th chord. I know, you know, how to do that now. Oh, I know how to make a 7th real easy. Like even like playing 2-chord, like power chord stuff, I can like more easily, like mentally experiment with like, oh, well, what if that wasn't a power chord with a 5th? Maybe if it had a 3rd in it, or maybe if it had a 4th or something like that. Just having that awareness, and it's just like the smallest amount of theory awareness. Like I'm not like doing calculations in my head here. It's like I've memorized like 3 hopscotch patterns at the local playground.
Sure.
You know, like that's the extent of it, but it's opened up a lot more awareness and creativity when I'm actually working on music instead of just noodling, you know.
What's your, going back to your first example, what's your go-to plug-in right now? Little battery plug-in amp.
I've been using the new Boss Katana Go. A lot, that's what it is, right? Or the Express.
That's Pod, right?
That's the Pod Express. No, the Boss Katana Go has become my number one. But the Fender Micro Mustang is really close behind it. The Micro Mustang is really great for just on the fly, grab and go, and just tweaking stuff without having to get into an app. You have to get into an app a little bit with the Katana Go, but you don't need to all the time. Like if you want to build a patch, if you want to make adjustments to patches, then you have to get into it.
Sure.
But you can make so many presets that it's like you make your patches and you kind of like have your favorite patches that you have dialed in, sort of thing.
Right.
But they're both really, really great units. I have all sorts of products that do that same sort of thing, and those are the two that I just keep going back to for various reasons. I keep meaning to do a shootout across all the things that I have, because I have those two. I have the Nux one here. I have a Flamma one, and they all have their strong points. Oh, and I have that Moor, the Moor 1 or whatever it is. I have that thing too. So I got 5 of these things, and they all have their perks. They all have their ups and downs, their positives and their negatives. But the Fender one and the Boss Katana one, I think are the best, in my opinion, for what I like anyways. So there's that. Do you have any other like tips or tricks or things that have like changed your playing life?
Mids.
Yeah. Like, geez. Yeah. Like growing up, like when you figure out the power of mids as a guitarist, as an electric guitarist, that is like when you have become an adult. Like, because scooping the mids is exciting. You get all this rumbling low, this big punchy low, and the bright piercing highs. And like, that's a really fun thing to experience. But then as you mature as a musician, you realize how important those mids are. And you realize it's where you actually live as an instrument, and how complex that mixture of EQ can be, you know, how powerful it is.
And in some ways it's also like maybe a little bit of a crutch, like funk, like listening to like out of phase, like funk guitar and whatever is always like a little, I've gotten better about it over the years, but it's still the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't really know how to dial sounds around that particular guitar tone, even if I like it. But yeah, mids. I think mids is a big one, and understand and the other part I think is like lower gain.
Yeah.
In general, like not,
Well, that's another thing about
I love taking
maturing.
I love taking a fuzz and 10. But I also love taking a fuzz and like running it at like 9 o'clock where it's like a little hairy until you start chugging.
So
and then it gets real hairy.
You know how it's a common thing to do to dial in a tube amp on the edge of breakup?
Sure.
That's something that you can do with fuzz?
Yeah.
You know how like when you turn up the gain knob on a fuzz, you find these little hiccups and these little sweet spots where it jumps all of a sudden, where it goes from one level of gain and suddenly jumps to a higher level of gain. Something changes in the circuit really abruptly. Well, if you can dial it in so that you're just before that with your light picking, then you can overcome that hump and you can kind of like manipulate that little hiccup in the circuit with your playing dynamics. It's a fun thing to try to do. It's a fun little thing to experiment with. And you don't find it by, I'm saying this as someone who famously turns my fuzzes all the way up every chance I get. But when I'm turning them down and dialing them in for actual like gigging use and stuff like that and recording use, I'm oftentimes trying to find little humps like that are lower down the dial. Another thing I want to say about EQ and pickups and all that, I feel like I understood my guitars a lot better when I stopped thinking about pickup styles being about output. Because you can adjust gain and post all you want. Like any pickup can be dialed around with various stomp boxes and EQs and whatever to hit a drive as hard as you want to hit it. But the EQ of pickups varies wildly. When I started thinking about humbuckers as being very like punchy low and focused mids, then I started realizing how to use them effectively. When I started realizing that single coils often are missing a lot of mids.
Sure.
Then I realized like, oh, that's why you pair, tube screamers with strats and things like that.
You gotta make those tubes scream.
It's not just because when I was young, it's just like, oh, hot pickups go brrr, like a big distortion if you have a big hot pickup and, little pickups go twang or something like that. It's about the EQ that you're working with. And every different flavor of pickup has a different range of EQ. Like the output is the output. Like that's sexy. It's sexy to think about how hot a pickup is or how unhot it is. Hot or not pickups. But when you think about it in terms of EQ, it changes your perspective a little bit, and it opens up the various uses that these pickups are good for. So I don't know.
No, it definitely helps. I think there's a lot of different aspects. And I think some of what you're talking about also really depends on like band context.
Oh, totally.
Sometimes you don't want the volumes to match, but I've run into that as well. Like and I don't know if it's just the way it's dialed in right now, or maybe I'm just hearing it a little differently. My Telecaster, because it has the Strat single and a humbucker in the bridge, a Strat single in the neck. It definitely like there's a huge output difference between the two positions. But and I usually use two different, if like I say I was using a dirt boxes for the whole song, I would use a different dirt box. Like say I want to use a humbucker on the chorus.
Sure.
I would use a different dirt box there than what I was using for the single coil in the verse. And I'm also playing differently. I'm approaching the playing differently.
Output does make a difference. Obviously, it's going to change the gain response of whatever pedals or amps you're using and stuff like that. But realizing the EQ changes that happen too is, it's a huge thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. We try to drop tips all the time and, reflect on things that we've learned and mistakes we've made.
Do you feel like
and stuff?
Do you feel like you've gotten, do you feel like you've learned about playing in editing your own videos?
Oh yeah.
Obviously like over the last year, we've partnered with two different educational brands with guitar. And I think so there's been a lot of changes on that front. But yeah, just thinking about it in terms of like, do you think your tone is better now?
My tone or my playing?
Like your tone and your playing is definitely better now than say like
sure
6 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little better every year.
And I think there's aspects of it too that are like some of like your tone improving could be that your workflow has changed or you've learned more about the post.
Yeah.
But do you think the way that you dial in the room has changed and has improved that way because you're listening to yourself in post?
Yeah.
And thinking like, oh, well, I'm going to add a compressor here, but I could have just run the gain like a little bit hotter and just gotten the compression from the amp or you know,
I don't,
or I could have run you don't really do a ton of EQ in post anyway.
I do not.
But there could be things where you're listening to her like, yeah, I'm going to leave this because in principle, I'm not going to tweak the EQ in post, but next time I demo this type of distortion pedal, I need to run, you know, I need to do the 2 Princetons with a little less treble or a little more treble or whatever.
I think more in those terms. I don't actually adjust the amps very much at all. Like I have them dialed in a very specific way to remain pretty flat sounding. They're pretty, the way I have them dialed in is pretty unsexy. They're not exciting the way I have them dialed in because I'm trying to demonstrate products.
I hold that pose.
Yeah.
No, with the hand out.
Yeah.
Looking down. No, look down, like when you're looking.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. And then here's mine. All right, thumbnail. Cool.
Thumbnail. All right. Who knows if I'll use that? What was this? Oh yeah, I don't dial the amps in to sound sexy because I'm demonstrating pedals and stuff, and I just want it to be like a general.
You want the pedal to be sexy.
I want you to hear the pedal instead of hearing the amp being on the edge of breakup and doing all the little quirky things that an amp does, and that's why I run 2 Princetons because they kind of balance each other out and like average out the sounds of the 2 different speakers. But I will be watching. I have reshot videos because I've been like, wow, I really used the wrong guitar for this one. Like that guitar is not working with that pedal. Like that pedal needs different pickups or it needs a different playability or something like that because it's just not connecting. And I've been in a very privileged position in the past year, like doing the Vulture Shock stuff, which is over now. If you didn't tune in last week, Vulture Shock is over. But I've been in a very privileged position becoming a YouTube guitar demo guy, and that I have so much stuff to work with. And I was bringing different guitars in like every week to do practices with that band and finding out just how much the pickup differences affect where I sit in the mix. And certain guitars really work with that band, with that mix. And certain guitars did not work at all. So it was pretty often for me to bring 2 guitars, one that I knew would work and one that I wanted to try, and just kept kind of like A-Bing and experimenting and, you know, got the survival of the fittest to see which ones fit in the mix the best.
So every week you brought a Telecaster and something else.
Weirdly, like a guitar that really, really worked for that band was the Harmony Silhouette.
Yeah.
And that got me on the mini bucker kick that I've been on for a while. And then I got the mini buckers just seemed to work in that band. For whatever reason.
High mid. Is that high mid?
Yeah, like kind of high mids and stuff like that. The Jazzmaster, oh, you can't see it in shot right now. The Jazzmaster with the off Kiltertron really works because there's a bunch of different options across that pickup. So things that didn't work were surprising me. Like my Player Plus Strat didn't work. Like it just didn't fit in the mix.
It's because of that bridge tone control.
The Yamaha, the Revstar was too fat. Had too much low end.
Interesting.
I couldn't get it to work. It was.
You turned the bass down, Ryan.
I know. But that part of the thing was like the bassist in that band his rig was nuts. So anything that any guitar that had a rich bass mix, just disappeared. You know,
that's actually, you know, going back to the idea of like scooping mids and whatever. I think that is something that you learn over time, especially playing with like, again, thinking about it like playing with people. And this is always the way I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Somebody described putting in their grandparents' hearing aid to me this one time, that they were surprised that that their grandparents' hearing aid sounded like canned bees.
Right.
Because what that hearing aid was designed to do was to fill in the gaps.
Right.
And when you're playing by yourself, a lot of times you're trying to set up your amp or you're set up your guitar or whatever to be like very full spectrum. But as soon as you're playing with a group, and this is why like mid-scoop, the reason mid-scooping doesn't work is because cymbals exist.
Right.
Right. And bass exists. And so when you mid-scoop, you've got no mids, you've got your high end that gets lost in the cymbals, and you've got your low end that gets lost in the kick and the bass.
I mean, mid-scoop guitar can be a great tool in a band,
but everybody's got to be in on it.
Right. It has to be formulated into the structure of the band. It can supply a lot of motion. It can supply a lot of drama. Yeah. But if you're looking to be on top of the mix with your leads, it's probably not the way to go.
Yeah. So it is a weird thing to think about, like how something, when you're playing it by yourself or in a space like this, you think like, man, this sounds really full. This sounds really big. But then when you put it in a band, that with a part of that sound that makes it sound big might be getting lost in the other parts of the band whose job it is to make it actually sound big. If you got a lot of songs with a lot of floor tom in it, then all of a sudden, again, like low end guitar might not mean as much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, something everyone could do is go buy the cheapest 10-band EQ pedal you can find. They all kind of do the same thing, so don't worry about it too much. Find a cheap 10-band EQ, and if you're playing with people, just turn everything down on it and then start spiking one frequency.
Right.
And then turn it down, spike the other one, figure out which frequency cuts the best through the mix, and then build your EQ kind of ramps and ridges around that, and just start finding the holes, because you're trying to find the holes in the mix, because the bass definitely fills up a big chunk of the frequencies. The drums is all over the map, and there's going to be little confetti holes throughout the EQ range because of the drums. And then you want the singer to be on top of everything, so you don't want to be fighting the singer. You want to be alongside them if you're playing lead, obviously, but you don't want to be interrupting them and trying to inhabit the same space. And like a good live tone, a good band mix tone is going to sound like ass at home.
Just think of it this way. You're not an Oasis. Stop trying to fight the singer. I don't have anything else to add to this.
If you are an Oasis,
stop trying to fight the singer.
But also, hey, send us a song. We'll play it at the end of the show.
Yeah. You got anything else on this?
Get us so demonetized, but it'll be worth it, I don't have anything else to say about it. That was fun. It's kind of like a shotgun shot, a scatter shot of little thoughts and topics.
Yeah. This last ad was sent by Riley Anderson. Says, bass drum, homemade bass. There's a crack in the back as shown in the pics. But Ryan called it bass drum. Let's find out why.
Because it's made out of a drum, like a storage drum.
Oh! That's a choice.
Like it's made out of like a commercial food grade.
Yeah.
Like I got one of those forever ago and turned it into a composter, and it had been used to store like orange popsicle flavoring, and I could never get the smell out. And every time I was within 10 feet of it, I could smell like orange flavored popsicles or Kool-Aid or whatever it was.
There's a lot going on here.
It's every part of this is DIY.
How is this playable?
It's a fretless stand-up bass, dude. It's a mystery that they're playable anyways.
But like, you can't tune it. I mean, you can.
No, you can, but you
just need a wrench.
Yeah, you need a socket set,
Like
the tuners are DIY, and they didn't need to go DIY on the tuners. They could have gotten commercial tuners. They did a really interesting carve job on this headstock. I actually really admire what they did with the headstock. It's cool.
The tailpiece is like, what are those toggle bolts?
Yeah, they're like the tightening bolts for like wire railings.
Okay. But I respect the engineering.
The thing is, like, people ask, like, oh, what's your desert island, blah, blah, blah. This is a desert island bass guitar, because if you have more chance of these parts washing up on your desert island than a completed bass guitar. Like a plastic drum, sure, various nuts and bolts, yeah, you might have a chance, you know? This is like a true DIY stand-up bass. And looking at it, I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Why it wouldn't be playable. As long as I can't see any reason why those bolts wouldn't be tunable. Like, I bet you have to like fiddle with them quite a bit. Yeah. But once you get this thing locked into tune, I bet it's pretty rock solid.
This is, there's no price listed. How much do you think someone should pay for this?
No one should pay for this. You build this. This is inspiration bait.
You go go to your local brewery. They have tons of these because it's also like what they store, grain or yeast or whatever in. Or go to your local biotech. This is what we keep water in. We've got like
distilled water or something.
Yeah, I literally have a project coming up next month where we are going to have like 200 of these barrels.
Wow.
Oh, no.
That's 200 potential bass guitars, Steve.
It's 400 because they
it's cut in half. Yeah. I'll have a whole army of bass guitars.
But yeah, this is like a 200-liter drum.
Yeah.
And you can probably get it.
200-liter drum is my favorite White Stripes song. It sounds like something they would title a song.
So no one should pay for this. They should only just make it.
Well, obviously this person is selling it, so someone's going to pay for it. I don't know, $100 or something.
Yeah. That's the sad, unfortunate thing.
But I also don't know the prices on, like DIY stand-up basses either. Like I know there's options out there that aren't as expensive as buying like a full-blown rockabilly ready stand-up bass.
But I'm thinking like when we've talked about wash tub basses on here, I feel like they're normally around like 75, but those usually only have 1 or 2 strings. This has 4.
And it's got that big old crack in the back. I wonder if this person's selling it because they started getting that crack and they're like, I got to work on Mach 2, the Mark II version of this. I got to, figure out some sort of internal bracing to prevent that. Because what's going on is the bridge is resting on a block of wood that's going straight through to the back. So they need to figure out some sort of way to rest that somewhere else or to spread that pressure across the drum, the barrel drum, a little bit more evenly so it doesn't crack. Like if it was pressing into a curved piece of wood that fit into that drum more perfectly, I feel like that might remedy their situation there. But I imagine this thing sounds interesting. Like not bad, but not like what someone who's a stand-up bass guitarist would chase tone after or anything like that. But like I bet it sounds cool. How bad could it sound,
Right. This is the kind of thing that you put in the corner of your music room and you mess around with everyone. You bring it out for parties.
I don't know.
Good time.
You start a busking band with something like this,
Start a little brown jug band.
Yeah. I dig it. I like the project. That's inspiration bait right there.
But what we need to find out now, Ryan, is do you like this enough to nominate it for the Adventurers Club?
Well, we've got
this.
We've got
Real life,
and we've got the superpower block.
I'll tell you right out, I'm going with the superpower block.
I'm going superpower.
Easy peasy.
There's a reason that one was first. Like, when Steve saw that, it was like
as soon as I saw
the needle scratched off the record.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, well, now we know why Sam Ash is out of business.
Right. Congratulations. Who sent that?
Jackson Dukes.
Are they your first time winner?
Maybe.
Congratulations. Whether it's your first time or your 5th time, who cares? You did it.
I don't know how we're going to play the song, Ryan, because...
You didn't Bluetooth?
I cannot Bluetooth.
Here, watch this. All right, we're back. We paired the Bluetooth.
Actually, I lied. I'm not good now because I can't download the song. This song was sent by Ian Downer. He says, longtime viewer of the channel and the podcast. I love what you guys do, and I hope you both keep it up. My girlfriend and I are both ESL teachers in Taiwan, but we both have a passion for music. Hence our musical project, Actually Downer. His last name is Downer. I can only assume her last name is Actually.
Of course.
Attached to this email is an unreleased track of ours for the podcast called Impending. We also have existing stuff on Spotify and wherever else things are streamed under the name Actually Downer. If you want to mention that, I just did. go check it out. I'll find a link. There'll be a link down below if you like this song and you want to hear more of it. Keep it up, guys. Much love from the other side of the world. Here we go.
I need to stop and catch my breath, thinking it's better just to hang it all up. I see where this is going and I wanna stop telling myself I'm not gonna break. I lie.
Who do you hear in his voice? Because I hear like a very specific comparable voice.
I don't know if this is what you're hearing, but throughout the track, honestly, the thing that, and I don't know if it was the phrasing, because I don't know if it, I'm just gonna say it, Prince.
I was hearing Trent Reznor.
Yeah, I feel like, so I feel like musically, my thought during this, and maybe Trent, Nine Inch Nails, like that general vibe is in the space. Because I was thinking like, this is like if Prince was in a goth band.
Yeah.
And, you know, granted, Nine Inch Nails is, you know, industrial, but there's some definite overlap there, you know?
Right. And this, like,
I was thinking like if Prince was engineering for The Cure.
I didn't mean as the song as a whole, but his voice in particular, like he was doing a lot of Trent Reznor-y sort of stuff with his voice. I'm sure he's aware of it. He's probably a Nine Inch Nails fan. I didn't dislike it. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, wow, that, like, I'm hearing a lot of like what Trent would do vocally here. Right. And I like it, you know, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Right. I really enjoyed that song.
Bye everybody.
Stay grounded.